Boss's latest release in the ME series is the ME-90, replacing the now discontinued but still very relevant ME-80. Now the ME series was started way back in 1988 with the ME-5, which was groundbreaking at the time, and the ME series, ME meaning multiple effects, has evolved and improved over the last 36 years into a monster with more effects than you can shake a stick at, with ways to manipulate the settings to dial in just about any tone you can think of. So this video is meant as a review and a pre-buyer's guide to the ME-90 for you to gauge whether you want to buy it or not. And it's not a tutorial of sorts. There are plenty of quality tutorials already out there. Now, before I go any further, I want to be very clear that this unit was provided to me by Zounds.com for the purpose of this review. And as much as I really like it, I will be returning it to them at the conclusion of this review. All opinions are my own, and I receive zero compensation for this review. For a long time, Boss has been using composite object sound modeling, which has been around for almost 30 years. They've used it in some kind of iteration of multi-effects unit and amps. Now with the ME-90, they started using AIRD, or Augmented Impulse Response Dynamics technology, that Boss first released in the GT1000 in 2018. This is my first time using AIRD, and I am not disappointed. Taking a look at the ME-90 for the first time can be a bit intimidating. There's a lot of knobs and a lot of buttons. And at first I was like, fine, I'll use everything in Tone Studio and it'll make it a lot easier. But then I was like, no, I'm gonna sit down with the manuals and I'm gonna try to learn at least one new thing a night and just work my way through it over a week's time. And within an hour or two, I had already worked through the manuals and it was not nearly as complicated as I thought it was. From the panel, as far as amps and effects, what you see is what you get. However, within Tone Studio, you have selectable effects and some really cool options and combinations to choose from so you can create tones for days. Let's take a look at the back panel. On the back panel, you have your input, your stereo outputs, left being mono, a switch to switch between guitar amps and lines with more adjustable settings in Tone Studio. You got a headphone jack, an effects loop, the optional Bluetooth dual adapter port right there, USB-C, your power button, and your 9-volt in. Now keep in mind, the Boss ME-90 comes with 4 AA batteries, but it doesn't come with a power supply, so you're gonna have to buy that on your own. Breaking down the top panel, you have your preamps, your compressor and effects, overdrives, your EQ and effects, mods, delay. You have some functions buttons here. You have your output level, your pedal effects here for when you got it used as an effects pedal or expression pedal. By default, it is a volume pedal. And you have your foot controls over here. To switch between banks, you use these top two right here. To switch between channels, you use these ones down here. You have 9 banks with 4 presets in each one. You have presets that you can't change. You have user presets that you can change. And then you'll have manual mode, and I'll show you that in just a second. So total, you have 36 user presets, 36 regular presets. So that's a total of 72 presets that you can have within this unit. It's kind of crazy. Manual switches into manual mode, and if you're in a preset, it'll show you which effects are on and you can toggle them on and off. To use your tuner, press and hold this button right here and you'll be in tuning mode. Turn it off, you turn it off. 3 down here you can use as a tap tempo. And also this one can be used as your phrase looper. The CTL button right here, you can use that to turn certain effects on or off. So let's say you want to program it to turn a distortion on or off, as well as a delay. If you're ripping a solo, you can do that. So let's program one straight from the panel, and I'll show you how to write it. So if you don't want to use the Tone Studio, it's this easy. You can have it on any user preset, and right now it's on user preset 2. And so let's switch it to a let's do a nice clean tone. We'll do it and put it on natural. Sounds good right there. And it looks like we have an overdrive on. Let's change to Yeah, let's leave it on blues driver. Now these coincide, the light coincide with what's on right now. So green, preamp, blue is EQ, yellow is overdrive, and your other blue is mod, and your white is your delay. So what do we got here? Let's turn off the delay and mod for right now. And we'll leave our reverb on. We'll put it on a hall. Actually, let's do spring. Let's do kind of a bluesy. And as you turn that, you can see the level going up and down of what it is. So if you all have it on room, it's 0, and then it goes all the way up. And then it switches over to the next one. So we're on spring. Let's go 2.1 on spring. Let's get a little drive on this blues driver. There's a little too much spring on there. Let's change it to the twin combo. How about tweed? Yeah, I like the tweed. We can do that one. And let's see. We got EQ. What do we got going on here? We got a little chorus. You want a little standard, how about tape? We'll put it on tape delay. Show you the function of the volume pedal. Now, just like any other expression pedal, to engage it, you'd push it down all the way, and you got to push it pretty hard. I can't do that on the desk, and it'll shake the camper, but that's how it works, and then you can adjust your different. Now that we got a usable tone, I want to write it, so I'm going to hit write, and it's going to, which bank do you want to use? So we'll go to bank 3, user 3, and we'll set it to bank 3 or channel 3. So once you got where you want it saved, you hit write again, it blinks a little faster, and you're here. So that is it. It's that easy to work from the panel. So those are the basics of the unit. Let's take a quick look at Tone Studio for the ME-90. And if you're familiar with Tone Studio for other Boss products, this is very similar. And when you connect and open Tone Studio, this is the screen you're going to see. So you click on ME-90 and you fire it up and you are there. I'm going to fire up the IR software so you can see that, and I'll show you how to load an IR into it. When the IR loader software comes up, you want to select ME-90 and hit OK. And we're just going to minimize that for now. So let's take a look through Tone Studio real quick. You have your editor. That's where you can edit all your preamps, your effects, all that good stuff. Your library, where you keep your patches that you download and you want to load. You got Tone Central, where you can load more patches from there. And they're supposed to, I think in June, they're trying to integrate the Boss Tone Exchange to be able to access patches from here as well. That is your tuner. You can adjust from 435 to 445 Hertz. And you can have it through or mute, meaning when you have the tuner on, it mutes it, or through, when you have the tuner on, you can still hear it. And over here you have your system menu with your hardware settings, play options, send and return, output settings, USB settings. You can download the owner's manual, device settings, and the version. Let's go back over to the editor. And as I explained before, on the unit, what you see is what you get. However, when you are looking at different effects, let's just use this one for an example. Okay, you have all these different effects. These are the ones that are on the unit that you can see. But then if you hit selectable, you have more things to choose from. Overdrives, Same thing, selectable. You have other ones that you can choose from. You have more than what looks available on the unit if you want to dive deeper into it. You can turn your send and return on over here. Your preamps, now your preamps, this is the AIRD preamps. And again, these are all the amps you have. And then if you click that one, selectable, you have more. You have all sorts of good stuff. Pedal effects, you have all these pedal effects on here. And these are the same ones that are on the pedal. You don't have anything selectable on there. Again, you got all these mods, selectable, and more good stuff. Now the delay, I like these new delays because you have all these different delays. You got a reverse delay, you got tempo, Terra, echo, shimmer, which is fantastic, and you got phrase loop. We're just going to go to selectable right now, and you can see the other types of delays you have. Chorus and delay plus reverb. It's really awesome. And your reverbs are pretty simple. You got room, hall, and spring. Now the output is where you can either use the aired output and choose different settings. If you hit that switch back here, you have different settings so you can optimize the way it sounds through a specific amp that you're using that you want to plug into. If you're simply plugging it into, like, let's say the power amp in of a Katana, I would just leave the switch off. Also on the output, that speaker type, you have original, and then you have 3 different IRs that you can load. I'll show you how to load an IR in just a minute. So let's take a look. Right now, the user presets and the regular presets, I have them set up so they're just factory stock. And when you hit the manual button, it switches over to manual and there's nothing you can do. Turn off manual. And let's take a look at some of these presets. Let's look at fuzz echo. Space clean. '60s fuzz. Touch wear. SD overdrive. My guitar sounds funny, it's tuned down to D. And let's look at the shimmer, because I really like the shimmer one. Put it on neck pickup. While we're in the shimmer, let's go over to the delay and let's take a look at some of the other ones. Let's go to selectable and let's go to glitch. It's pretty cool. Warp. It's got a little warble there to it. And chorus and delay. So I like the extra functions that you have with the delay. Now let's play with our own user preset. Let's just go all the way up to rock lead. Let's go change up the amp. Let's go to the modded amp. I think it's X modded. It's not the Rectastack. Let's go to X modded. This is one of my favorites. There is no overdrive. We'll just keep that one simple like that. But let's change that to a hall, and yeah, we'll leave it like that. But let's change the output to an IR that I have. I've got an IR here. It's from Glenn Fricker from Spectra Sound Studios, the guy who yells all the time on YouTube. This is the original. The V30. This is a V30 with a different microphone. Now what those are impulse response. If you're not familiar with an impulse response, it's basically a file of a sonic snapshot of an amplifier or a speaker setup, and you use the IR to load IRs, and you can find a lot of free IRs online. So let's load one up. Okay, so this is your IR loader, and you've got 3 different ones you can load there. So you got 3 different options. These are your connections. I think I showed you that before. But let's load one up. Let's just look at Jens Bogren and Gates of Hell. Finally, when it finishes, you're going to where you want to load it to. I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to hit OK. So now it's loaded. I can minimize that, and as you can hear the difference, let's hear the difference between the original, the V30, and the one we just loaded, Gates of Hell. So you can see there is a distinct difference when you're loading IRs. Now I am recording all of this through USB-C, and there is 0 latency, which I'm usually hesitant to record through USB as a Windows user because Windows has been notorious in the past for having latency issues. But with this USB, and because I'm monitoring straight from the ME-90 with headphones, I have no latency issues whatsoever. So the question you might be asking yourself is, should you buy an ME-90? And regardless whether this is a sponsored video or not, my unbiased answer is yes. If you're looking for a rather inexpensive, lightweight, durable multi-effects rig that you can gig and record from, this is a fantastic option. Now, if you can find one used or on discount, grab it. If you've had the ME-80 and you're impressed with it, I think you'll be impressed with the AIRD tech and all the new features of the ME-90. If you're up in the air about which you should buy between the ME-80 and ME-90 because the prices aren't that far apart, as I said earlier, the ME-80 is still very relevant. And even though it's been discontinued, there are still a lot of them for sale for new at $299, and the used market seems to be between $229 and $249. With that said, at $349, I feel that the new tech and features of the ME-90 are well worth paying a little extra, and on the used market, they're going for about the price of a new ME-80. And if you want to buy one, I do have an affiliate link down below you're more than welcome to use, and I would appreciate it. But no pressure. And if you want to subscribe, I'll be checking out some other multi-effects units from other brands in the future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.